Everything that I have learned about communication, I have learned from sex offenders. Over the last 20 years, I have worked with thousands of offenders, their victims, their families, their friends, but that's not all. I also work with people who self-identify as having or have been diagnosed with sex and pornography addiction. I believe that sex and pornography addiction is a myth. The Association for the Treatment of Sexual Abusers, a worldwide organization, states that sex and pornography addiction is not an accurate clinical diagnosis. An addict is actually defined as someone who uses a specific substance, particularly an illegal drug. Addiction comes from the medical model, not the mental health model. Yet, labeling it as sex and pornography addiction has become rampant. Some people use it as an excuse for an overarching self-sabotaging behaviors. Other people use it as an escape from consequences, such as prison or legal ramifications. The idea of sex and pornography addiction is really a compulsive preoccupation with fantasy, to include compulsive masturbation, the excessive viewing of pornography, the unhealthy pursuit of casual sex. In 2017, Pornhub.com had 81 million visits per day, which they further broke down to 50,000 searches per minute or 800 searches per second. If you were to watch everything that was downloaded in 2017 alone, you would have to watch 68 years of pornography continuously. The obsessive use of pornography is a worldwide issue. The United States comes in first for the highest amount of traffic. The United Kingdom is second. India is number 3, with Japan being a close fourth. In the Philippines, they have the highest average viewing time, approximately 13 minutes, whereas in Russia, the average viewing time is about 8 minutes. My specialty as a psychologist is providing treatment for people who have been convicted of a sexual offense. One patient comes to me and he tells me that his wife has labeled him as a sex addict because he has had multiple affairs over their 26 years together. Another patient tells me that he is ashamed to talk to somebody about how much pornography he's been viewing, sometimes up to 4 hours a day, to avoid the stress that he's having at work. Yet, it's causing him to push people away, like his friends, and he's not going out with them to movies or on hikes or biking or even to dinner because he wants to rush home and watch pornography. They weren't always like this. There was a time in their life when they weren't aware of sex or pornography and when they weren't dealing with sexually compulsive behaviors. Our son likes to have friends spend the night. We, my husband and I, like to think of ourselves as the cool house, but I'm sure that if you asked our son, he would tell you we are definitely not that cool. So on this particular sleepover, we had everything they could need. They had pizza, soda, video games, all the sugar in the world. And I'm listening to them talk about things boys talk about. Teachers and girls, grades and girls, and video games and girls. And I made a joke. It was tame. And I don't mean by my standards. I mean by society standards. Because after 20 years in this field, I have come to realize that my sense of humor is a little bit jaded, although it makes Thanksgiving dinner a little bit fun. My son says, "Mom, oh, you're so embarrassing. Why did you say that? My friend is here." And his friend pops up immediately and he says, no, don't worry. What's said at the Martins stays at the Martins. I don't tell my parents what was said here. I'm like, whoa, wait, right? Like, what do you think you heard? Now I'm in damage control, right? But with a giggle, a snort, and probably a fart, they moved on to the next subject, girls. But as I watched these two innocent boys, knowing that we are the cool house, and that our home is safe, I'm reminded of a study in 2008 by Cyber and Behavior that states that 93% of boys and 62% of girls have been exposed to online pornography during their adolescence. Our children are being bombarded by images of sex and fantasy at the rate of 68 million pornographic search engine requests every single day. So, if you find yourself spending hours on the internet looking for pornography, or you're going outside to meet strangers and have casual sex instead of developing a meaningful, real-life relationship with someone, you're lacking connection. And all of us deserve to have connection. So how do we move from this negative behavior and into something more positive? Cravings or impulses peak at 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you 3 exercises that you can do that will help to distract you during this period of time. The first one is easy. It's physical movement. We all know how to do it. We all know it's supposed to be good for us. So get up from your couch and take a lap around the living room. Go out and take your dog for a walk. Change your environment. Anything physical that you can do that will refocus your brain on a new goal. You could even do 10 push-ups. Wait, you didn't think I was really going to do 10 push-ups. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you to do the next exercise with me. It's very easy. You can do it anytime, anywhere. I promise it's not embarrassing, so just follow along. First, I'd like you to think of something that you're stressed about or that you're worried about. Maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's your finances, or maybe you're just worried that your kid's friend is going to go home and tell his parents what he thought he heard at the Martins. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take one finger and you're going to put it on one nostril, and you're going to take a deep breath in and out of the other nostril. Everybody do it. You don't look foolish. I can't even see you because of the lights. Now I want you to switch and do the same thing on the other side. Now, with both nostrils, you can go ahead and breathe deeply in and out as many times as you like. See, that's even helping me relax, and I'm the one up here. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you the next exercise. Oh, you probably should tell you what I'm doing. So I'm humming, but I'm not humming out loud. I'm just humming in my head. So that exercise and the previous breathing exercise work with our brains in the same capacity, in that our brains cannot do the exercises that we just performed and experience cravings, anxieties, impulses at the same time. We just don't have the capacity. So what if you're a partner or a spouse of someone who you feel like has a problem with sex or pornography? How do we talk to the people that we love about this? First, determine what bothers you the most. Is it what they're looking at? Is it how much time they're spending looking at it? Or is it the fact that they're going outside the relationship to fulfill their sexual needs? Come at them from a place of compassion. And then try and talk to them during a time when you think that they won't necessarily be on the defensive. What if you're a parent? Be willing to talk to your kids about the things that they are going to see on the internet, at their friend's house, or in a movie. Be honest with your children. Don't be afraid to talk to them about the shame and embarrassment that surrounds sex. The odds are good that they're going to see it, so set them up for success. So, in the end, let's start talking to our children about how, as they are growing, if they're looking at pornography, their brain is developing differently. And if they're cutting off friendships and relationships with other people, they're harming their communication skills. And as a society, let's begin to learn and teach appropriate coping skills. let's stop objectifying others and instead see them as a whole person. A person who has problems just like us. Somebody who probably spilled curry from lunch on their pants just like us. And people who don't necessarily get along with all of their coworkers just like us. In the end, whether you call it addiction or sexual compulsion, everybody deserves compassion and connection. Thank you. Now you drop and give me 10 push-ups.